Hello and welcome to The Hero Spouse. I'm Kenda Ruth, here to answer one of your questions about marriage and midlife crisis. Today we have an anonymous female left behind and forward-moving spouse with a bomb drop of December 3rd, 2022 and a date of marriage of 2000. This MLCer still lives at home. He's an at-home MLCer and she's not yet familiar with contact with energy level types. She says, I'm very confused at the stage my husband is in. He seemed to go through all the stages in the past few months. It's been very painful how we've all been affected. I'm a Christian and I've been praying a lot and I can see God working in him. The angry face looks a lot better. He's able to behave himself perfectly well when there are visitors. But as soon as it's just the two of us, he goes back to this strange way of not communicating, monosyllables and responses. He's having an affair with someone in a foreign country who I think they met on one of his work trips. I've asked him politely twice about it, but he denies vehemently. He doesn't know that I have proof of the name and a few details and that he talks to her every night for hours on video. And he actually believes I'm stupid enough not to see all the signs. I want to know if I should confront him with the details. Will that make him go back into the tunnel? So first, a few things. It's not going to make him go back in because he's not out. Midlife crisis, the bad news. I'm sorry, the bad news. Midlife crisis lasts 3 to upwards of 7 years. That is measuring it from bomb drop, not from any times where, I think the crisis started 2 years before that. Yes, but the time starts at bomb drop because that's when they finally start to get active and change their behaviors toward the fantasy. So bomb drop, 3 to 7 years to upwards of 7 from then. Your bomb drop was 5 months ago? Was it about that? So he's not out of the tunnel. It hasn't been 3 years. And that's the low end. So you're concerned with things becoming worse. You're going to say you confront him with all of these details, and then he's going to monstrate you. And now this is the reason you don't trust me, so I can never be in a relationship with you. And he's going to tell you that you ruined it. And because of this is your attitude right now, I'm afraid he'll go back into the tunnel because I do this. You're going to believe the gaslighting. So no, don't do that. Don't believe that gaslighting. He's already in the tunnel. And you're going through one of the things I see people going through right now because he's at home. When it comes to energy level, it's hard to tell because it's too early. He may be a clinging boomerang, though, being at home the way he is, but we'll see. And at-home MLCers are more likely to be low-energy wallowers, but it hasn't been long enough for him to have definitely left. MLCers leave eventually. Those who don't, who stay at home, are more likely to be low-energy wallowers. But it's only been 4 months. So he's either a high-energy replayer or a low-energy wallower. You have seen him go through what you think of as all the stages. That's called cycling right now. It is not called him going through all the stages. What I see is people at your stage, only a few months after bomb drop, they see good, and they see bad, and they see good. Then they see them really depressed. So they've read Jim Conway's Stages of Midlife Crisis or Heart's Blessings. Heart's Blessing rewrote and expanded Jim Conway. So those are Jim Conway's. And they say, there's a stage 4 called depression. He's depressed. All of MLC is depression. It could be renamed midlife depression. So take that title and throw it away. Understand the stage, not the title. You see that there's a stage called anger. He's been angry. He must. You see that there's a stage that Jim added called withdrawal. He's withdrawing. He must be in that stage. Withdrawal happens in cycles. They pursue and they distance. They pursue and they distance. Those are not stages of MLC. They're cycles that we go through over and over and over again. And you're going to see that and it's going to confuse you. Because what I see of people in the beginning like this, especially with somebody who's at home or clinging, they think they're coming through it. They think it's improving. It's not that it's not improving. It's a cycling. They think that it's getting worse. Now it's getting better. Now it's getting worse. And then you're getting all these mixed messages. Some of them, not that you're MLC, sometimes is sending mixed messages. Sometimes they're just so confused you're mixed up with them, cycling with them. MLC gets worse before it gets better. If you were on the email list and you got last week's email, if you just joined, you wouldn't have gotten it. But if you got it, that was the topic of the email. Go back and look at it. Midlife crisis gets worse before it gets better. And if this is a midlife crisis, he's not getting better. If he's a clinging boomerang, say, he might be, his second thoughts might be showing him he doesn't really want out, but that doesn't stop the crisis. It is a crisis of identity. It has nothing to do with you. And so a clinging boomerang wants reassurance that we're going to be there for them. They want us. Oh, but they don't want us. The they don't want us part is this compulsion to escape and avoid. And they're escaping and avoiding these pieces of things in their shadow that they're either ashamed of, they don't want to remember things that were trauma to them, or things they did that they think I'm a bad person. Those are bursting and bubbling up in their psyche. It's not you. It's their trauma, usually from childhood. You can't help it, and they can't even help it. And it's going to keep happening. It's going to keep happening. And your job is to heal. Your job is to understand MLC, sure. But that's not going to do you any good if you don't also accept what you're understanding, accept what's going on, and heal. That's more important than any of all of that, is heal and detach. You've got to do that, because then you're going to be there as a stable and healthy person for him, not just for you. Because I know you're always with yourself, right? And I know at this stage you're going to want to say, yeah, but I just want to be there for him. Well, if you're going to be there for him, you have to be there as a strong, stable, healthy person. Okay? And that means you have to heal. That means sometimes you're going to have to put up boundaries. Now, but should you confront him with the details? Yeah. I want you to practice it. I want you to write out what you're going to do. Practice in front of a mirror first. Get the details. And you use that line you used here. The stupid line. I don't have stupid written across my forehead. That's the one I used. He actually thinks, do you actually think I'm stupid enough? No, don't quite say it that way, because I don't want the answer to be yes. You can make it as a statement. Clearly you think I'm stupid. But I'm not. It's not written up here. I can see the signs, and you're being extremely obvious with your affair behaviors. Something like that. And that was one of the ones I used with Chuck, was I don't have stupid written across my forehead. And then I told him he was being obvious. When I said he's being obvious, you have evidence. I didn't necessarily have evidence gathered. He told me a bunch of stuff, but I didn't know. It probably wouldn't have been able to take it to court. You said you have some evidence. You can present it. Fine. Now, that does not mean it's going to work in the way you think it does. He may still deny. You could show him a picture of him and her together. You could show him a video in your room having sex. Sorry. Some of them are still going to deny. Oh my gosh, that's a deep fake. If they think they can say it over and over again enough to gaslight you, to maybe you won't believe it now, but well, wait. He's been consistent on this story for like 3 years. Maybe he is telling the truth. That's gaslighting. He's having an affair. It might be emotional since she's in a foreign country. But they're constantly talking on the phone. And you know it. You know her name. Yes, go ahead, present him with that evidence. But the only reason is so that you are letting him know, I know that this is an affair, and so I'm making it not in the dark anymore. It's public. Now you know that I know. It's not so that he stops it. You might say I'm telling you so I stop it, but I don't want you to expect that, because it's not going to happen. And if it does, sure, sometimes, there will be another one. If this is a midlife crisis, the affair or affairing isn't over, because if one gets over, there will be another one. Or they're going to go find another one. Even if they don't find it, they're trying to. So you're not going to be able to stop the affair. That doesn't mean you, oh, I can't stop it, so I'm just going to let him know that I know. No. Hey, buddy, your behavior's obvious. You're having an affair. It's not a secret. So stop lying to me about it. And then he's living at home. What kind of boundary are you going to set with that? She is out of the country, so apparently this is not, at this moment, physical. They are not meeting in person. What if he left to, hey, I'm going on away for a weekend. And you know he's going to see her. And maybe you gather proof, maybe you don't. Maybe you get proof later. What are you going to do? What if she were in town or you were always sneaking around? You might have more concrete things because he's coming home every night and you know there's a physical thing going on. You have to figure out what you're going to do if he does go away to be with her for a weekend. Well, you don't come back. You set some level of boundary that you can enforce. And when it is an affair that is not secret anymore, and secret means you don't know about it. Not secret, you know about it. It doesn't mean that work knows about it. It doesn't mean friends know about it, family knows about it, the neighbors know about it. The only person to know might be you. That is public or secret, not secret anymore. Because you're the important person who needs to know. And if you keep the affair secret, such as, let's say, he knows you know about an affair, but you don't do anything, then you're enabling the affair. He knows you're allowing him to get away with it. So once you know, and he knows that you know, you set boundaries. Figure out what they are. Figure out what you can enforce, what will work. So something that's not going to work. You have proof that he talks to her every night. He's at home. You're not going to be able to stop him from talking to her every night while living at home. Maybe, I guess you could set up some phone jammer. It's going to be too complex. So you could say, you know what? You can't live here anymore. Figure out a boundary that is enforceable. And then you have to actually act on it. He is otherwise, what you need to tell him is, you know what? Hey, nighttime at our house? No, you're not to contact her. Now, doesn't mean he's going to stop contacting her. Doesn't mean he's not going to contact her from your home, but he's going to take it underground and sneak it, or he's going to do it somewhere else. And you can tell him you don't say, I will kick you out. You say, and it's not an ultimatum, so I don't want you to say you're choosing her or me. It's, when you're doing this, you're making a choice not to live here anymore. So if you're going to keep doing this, then you need to find somewhere else to go. Now, personally, I prefer that boundary for when it's physical. So I want you to think of what you can do. The other thing is it's very early in, and that is a really strong, tight boundary. I would rather you hold that boundary in your pocket and see what else you can do first. But the thing I want you to think about the most is it's not over. He is not out of the tunnel. You're not going to send him back into the tunnel. But if you do confront him, which, yes, you really do need to let him know, hey, this is stupid. You're going to stop denying this. And he's not going to. You're going to stop denying this because you and I both know what's going on. Here's the thing. Now, they don't care. So this is for you. Oftentimes, the worst damage is done by the lying, not the infidelity. It's the lying when we know they're lying, and then we know they're lying, or the lying and then we learn we've been tricked, and now we don't know how to trust ourselves anymore. We don't know how to trust our judgment anymore. So there's this extra, that's partly why there's this bomb drop of damage that goes out. But he needs to know. He needs to be told, yes, I know you're doing this. You're not fooling me. And then you don't let him fool you. You don't let him think you're being fooled. Even if he continues to play stupid himself and think you can be stupid. You're not having any of it. Okay? But he is in a crisis. I want to make sure that you continue to learn about midlife crisis so you can accept and understand what it really is. Okay? It's a big thing. It's a lot for you to do. So take care of yourself. Take some time and do some deep breathing, because I'm asking a lot of you right now. Okay? And I hope this helps. And I will see everybody in the next question.